This is Julia with iCadenza, and I'm here live at the lounge in Hermosa Beach following another sold-out performance of Classical Music LA concert series. And I'm standing here with the Carducci quartet, who have flown here all the way from England, and I'm so honored to be here with all of you.
Oh, thank you.
So first, would you introduce yourselves?
I'm Michelle. I'm the second violinist of the quartet.
I'm Eoin, the violist with the quartet.
I'm Matthew, the other violinist of the quartet.
And we are missing one member, and could one of you introduce her for us?
Well, that's Emma, the cellist, Matthew's wife. We're actually two married couples in this quartet. So Eoin and I are married, and Matthew and Emma.
And you merged two cultures together. Half of your group is Irish and half is English from England. And can you talk a little bit about the cultural differences in terms of the musical styles? And you played some of the pieces that you played actually molded both of those styles together.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I guess there's a lot of classical music going on, especially in the UK. There's a really big scene there, and obviously London has its own very vibrant classical music scene. And in Ireland, there's also, obviously a lot going on. Has a huge history more in folk music. And this piece that we played this evening was a piece by Ernest Moran, who's an English composer, but he liked to incorporate some folk music in his music. So we like to play that piece because it is sort of half English and half Irish, as we are. So.
Well, it was fantastic. Does anyone have anything to add to that? Feel free to jump in anytime. Well, what I actually am wondering is, how do you rehearse? Does any one of you take the lead, or do you all just kind of collaborate together? It seemed like during the performance I saw actually the cellist conducting at some points, and I'm just wondering how that works when you rehearse.
Well, we all definitely share responsibility. I think some quartets in the history have had a definite kind of leader who would dictate what would happen when and where. But we really try and be a group, and everyone has a share. Everyone takes the lead at different times. I mean, that's the great thing about the string quartet, is that you're four individual voices that sometimes come together and then sometimes diverge. And I don't think there's any real leader. Apart from me, maybe sometimes.
Well, you certainly communicate very well on stage, and it's really, really beautiful to watch. You actually started your own record label to produce your records. Can you talk a little bit about the process of doing that and the decision to do that?
Yeah, well, I guess we first of all, we were very enthusiastic and excited about the idea of just making recordings, and I guess in this day and age, maybe. There aren't so many kind of big record contracts out there like there were in previous times. So we kind of decided to just take the bull by the horns and really and do it ourselves, and that gives us a great kind of I suppose artistic freedom to choose what we want to record. So we started with a Haydn string quartet, a Haydn CD. Because he was the real master, the grandfather of the string quartet. But then we also decided to focus on some kind of lesser known composers, and so we've made kind of 3 world debut recordings of their works. So it's great to have the opportunity to bring lesser known music to audiences around the world.
It's wonderful. And how has that experience been for you? What would you recommend for other musicians that are considering that, going down that road?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a really good idea, and it is a great opportunity to. I mean, I suppose first and foremost for us, it's an opportunity to have CDs that we can, we can bring to concerts and sell at concerts, but also, to make available online, and that increases your profile, I guess, and makes your music available, worldwide, which is a really important publicity tool as well, I think.
Absolutely. And you do some wonderful work, I understand, with promoting the education of music and helping young people discover music. Can you talk about your efforts in that?
We really feel that it's really vital to kind of make sure that there is a future for classical music. When we play in places like this, it just shows that there is, and it doesn't have to be just music in a concert hall, and so we love playing to children, and we've been doing a big sort of schools program in the UK and in Ireland, and more recently we've been trying to do more on our tours, during our tours in the USA as well. we really feel that going into play to young children is a really beneficial thing. I mean, they get to hear live music, and the great thing is when they hear this kind of chamber music up close, which is how it should be. And there's when they're really young, they don't have any sort of preconceptions. They don't say, oh, I don't like classical music, or they're not at that stage, and they just absolutely love hearing live music. So, it's great. You only need to plant the kind of seed of the idea of, wow, this is something I could really get into a few children's minds, and then I think the future will be good for classical music. So that's what we're hoping for.
And what do you think about, I told you a little bit about our efforts with iCadenza to open up the internet to classical music and to kind of provide a centralized location for it to get the world to listen. What do you think about that idea of providing that space for performing artists?
I mean, obviously it's great the more sort of exposure that classical music gets, and the wider audience that you can reach. That's absolutely a great thing. And one of the great things, as Matthew was saying, about playing to children is that they've got no preconceptions about music. They'll just listen to it and not sort of, if you tell them that it's a piece of music by a composer living today, they're not going to feel any way about it. They will just listen to it with open ears, and hopefully people can listen to music in the same way on the internet and sort of just kind of maybe stumble across it and find out they actually do like it. And of course it's a great idea.
Yeah, and I think as well, we live in the kind of the generation of YouTube now, where people often will, before they look to any other source, they'll look something up on YouTube or Google or whatever it is to find out more about it. So certainly having tools like this available on the internet is really useful, because so many young people will go there first to kind of research about anything, really.
And I think anything you can do to help bridge that gap between being a student and then suddenly having to be a professional musician performing and trying to make a living from it is vital, because there is that really difficult stage, before you can establish yourself, and you need to work so hard in that middle time. So if you can make use of the internet in that way, then that's fantastic.
Thanks so much. And what is coming up for all of you? Where are you traveling to next?
Well, tomorrow we're going to be travelling back to the UK. We have a concert in the afternoon, and then we'll be taking an overnight flight back home. And then we're really looking forward to our own festival, which is in Gloucestershire in England. So that will be over a weekend towards the end of the month. So we'll be kind of preparing for that and really looking forward to that. And then just a lot of concerts around the UK, and a bit of travelling then later on in the year. We're going to Australia in September, and various places. Colombia in October. So that will be in August. Colombia in August, and back here in the summer and in the fall as well. So lots of travelling.
Sounds like quite a lineup. Well, it's so exciting. We're so excited to see what happens next for all of you, and we'll definitely provide a link for all of our viewers to your CD, because they should hear your music. It's wonderful. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks very much.